Welcome to The Secrets of Success. By following the proven techniques of the guests who appear on this series, you'll learn that even successful people run into detours and failures, and how you can apply their success techniques to change your life.
You are now listening to the most unique show on radio, the show dedicated to making you a success. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. Ora Nadrich will show you how to get the most out of it. Ora, thanks for being with us today.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Now, you have a book, Live True, and I've really enjoyed going through that and setting up this interview because there's so many statements you have in there, and you come out and you start out by saying, you are exactly where you need to be. What does that mean?
What it means is that we are really in the exact moment that we are most alive in, because if you think about it, the present moment is when we are alive. We're in this moment. And if we really value this moment, it is exactly where we need to be. You know, oftentimes we think we need to be somewhere other than the moment that we're in, and that's really what this book is about really valuing the moment that you're in and showing up fully for it.
I admit I'm guilty. I'm always thinking I should have done this yesterday, or what am I going to do tomorrow? And I miss the exact moment. And actually, thanks to your book, Live True, you've got me thinking of that, like, wait a minute, it's now X time of day on this particular date. Think of this moment. What are you doing? Walking the dog, having breakfast? Enjoy that and forget about all those other things. Mm-hmm. Now,
yes.
You mentioned in your book, the time we waste is the time we pray for at the end of life. Wow. It's so true, and you and I were talking about it before the show began. So much you get to the end of life, and at least we see it in movies. Of course, if we're listening, we haven't reached that point yet, and we wish we had more time to do something. Well, that's the time we're wasting now, isn't it?
Absolutely. You know, we don't want to wait till we're really in crisis. You know, we've had misfortune in our life. We have some kind of illness or, you know, something that really brings us closer to the appreciation of our life in order for us to really value it. And I say that in the book because if you really, you know, be with that thought, imagine the very end of your life, as much as that might be hard to hold in your mind's eye. But if you really think about it, you know, the moments that we waste, we're never going to get them back. So if we could prevent that now while we're alive and not wait till the end of life is near, we're really going to have a very, you know, much appreciated life here. We're going to have valued each and every moment.
And so many of us have so many gifts to be grateful for. I think if we take a little time and appreciate the moment and appreciate it during our life, we get caught up watching reality TV or maybe doing something mindless, but we can get so much more out of it. And many of the points in your book, you're going to be telling us how to do this. And one I'm going to ask you about early on. You talk about meditation for being in the moment now. Can you tell us, and when I say us, I mean myself and many people in our audience who are not familiar with meditation, how we could do this without being an expert or being too heavily into it? Can we do this at our chair at work? Can we do it in between commercials, or should we sit before going to bed or getting up in the morning? When is the time, and how do we do meditation?
That's a really good question, and I'm glad you asked that because I'm a very all-inclusive person. I write these books, and I don't want to just target a certain audience. I don't want to say, hey, you meditators out there, I'm talking to you. The fact is that everybody can have moments of quietude, of stillness, of rest, which is a form of meditation. You know, do you need to be sitting in a lotus position on a meditation cushion to meditate? No, you don't. Do you know there are people that have formal meditation practices, and I respect that, and there are millions of people out there that don't. So how do they meditate? Meditation is simply just sitting quietly, you know, making an effort, making a date with yourself, if you will, to find even 10 minutes of your day where you can sit somewhere that's quiet, that's not noisy, where no one's going to bother you, and you're going to be quiet in the sense that you can do something like focus on your breath. Our minds wander. Our minds wander, they say, there was a research out of Harvard, that the mind wanders almost 50% of the time. And we think between 40 and 70,000 thoughts a day. So meditation can help quiet the mind. If you find that your mind is busy, all you have to do is just be the observer, like the witness, like you're just observing your mind being busy. A good way to stay anchored, a good way to stay grounded, is to put your focus and awareness on your breath. And if I were to say to you, hey, Bill, why don't you just take a deep breath in and then let it go, and take another deep breath in and let it go. You're putting your focus on that. You're putting your focus on your breath. You're not putting your focus on a thought. And the more you do that, you're going to start to feel relaxed because you're getting out of your head. You're not letting your thoughts commandeer you and take over. So these are very simple exercises that we can do daily. Sitting quietly and doing something as easily as focusing on the breath. And I'll give you one more really quick tip, which I love. It's a counting tip. It's a meditation breath counting. And you literally count to yourself 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 in the inhalation. And when you breathe out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, take another deep breath in, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, and then release that breath and count 1, 2, 3, 4. And when you practice this, which is as simple as could be, you're going to start to feel more relaxed. That is a type of meditation.
Oh, now I can do that. And I don't know if you heard me when you were saying take the breath in before.
Were you doing it with me?
I was doing it, yes. And
Good for you.
And that's an easy one. And you're right. I mean, that's something I think we can all do. It's not pushing us too hard. And if you can't spend maybe, 10, 15, 20 seconds
minutes,
doing that.
Some people, are constant meditators, and they devote 20 minutes or 45 minutes a day to sitting down quietly, and they do a version of that where they'll focus on their breath. I'm giving you a quick tip, which is really useful, actually.
Oh, believe me, I'm going to use it. I've found over the years that we've been on for 30 years, and the tips I get from our guests are wonderful. I don't know if the audience all uses them, but I certainly do, and I will say inevitably they work, they're valuable, and makes my life better. So I'm going to take advantage of your tips.
Good for you. I'm glad to hear that.
Well, no, thank you. Now, you mentioned that magic is believing in yourself, and real magic comes from within. Isn't that hard, though? Because isn't that the problem with a lot of people? They don't have confidence that they can ask that person out for a date, or they can go for a raise, or get a better job. How do we develop that? Does that come through the meditation, or is it just a thought process?
It's a thought process. We all have the inner critic, and we tell ourselves all sorts of things about ourselves that aren't even true. And it sabotages us, and we're very quick to throw ourselves under the bus. So, you want to be mindful, and mindfulness is having an awareness of our thoughts, our behavior, our actions. So be aware of when you're telling yourself, I'm never going to get that job. No one's going to want to go out with me. I'm never going to meet my soulmate. This is negative self-talk. And I have something in my first book called Says Who, How One Simple Question Can Change the Way You Think Forever. And it's called the Release and Replace Technique. For every negative thought you tell yourself, replace it with its positive counterpart. So if you're saying something to yourself like, I'm never going to get that dream job, say, hey, you know what? I am going to get a dream job. Or I don't think I'm worthy. Change it to say I am worthy. Even if you don't believe it, okay, you're going to feel a difference in your body. When we tell ourselves negative things, we feel it in the body. It doesn't feel good. I'm asking you to do something so simple, just like that breathing exercise. If you switch it to a positive thought, then you're not going to be fulfilling these negative prophecies, Start to tell yourself positive things, and then you can act on them, and they will support your vision moving forward.
Ora, at this point in the show, we'd like to remind our guests that you're listening to The Secrets of Success on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm your host, Bill Horan. Our guest today is Ora Nadrich. She's telling us about her book, Live True. And Ora, we would ask you if you could tell us where we can get the book and if there's a website where we can find out more.
My website is oranadrich.com, and the book can be ordered on Amazon. You can get it pretty quickly on Amazon, Barnes & Noble. If you happen to have a bookstore near you, I'm sure they can order it for you, but you can get it pretty quickly on Amazon.
And we'll give that information later in the show. And already, if you're just listening, if you try that breathing exercise Ora talked about, it will slow you down a little bit and maybe get those thoughts in the direction where you want them rather than always in the negative direction. Ora, you mentioned in the book that we create the thoughts and images that we hold in our mind. Well, of course, that's true, but how can we keep them from overwhelming us, especially when there's something negative? We might be worried about an illness in the family or some bills. What do you recommend for that?
Well, I have, again, something in my first book, Says Who, and it's called The Something to Worry About Thoughts. And I talk about that, we all worry, and we all can have situations and circumstances that give us reason to worry. But worrying needlessly doesn't help us. There's nothing constructive about worrying. It doesn't hurry something along to get better. It doesn't solve the problem to worry. So, again, by implementing mindfulness, it's having an awareness of when you are worrying. And, you can switch out the worry for a prayer for somebody. If there really is a health crisis, if somebody is suffering, if a loved one is going through a difficult time, there is a health issue, there's divorce, you yourself are going through something, and you find yourself just worrying, up and down, and it's very disruptive to be in that state. It causes a lot of anxiety, is to maybe, again, do the meditation breathing exercise or say a prayer for that person. Visualize them healing. Visualize yourself healing. See yourself well. You can literally see yourself walking along a beach and notice yourself feeling vibrant and that you are in a state of wellness rather than in a state of disease. There are so many things we can do. We are powerful. Our thoughts are powerful, and we can change them at any given moment. We need to work with our thoughts. They're there for us. They want to help us, but we need to guide the way.
So much good stuff you're giving us. I want to sit here. I'm taking notes all over my notes, so it's going to be a mishmash by the end of the show. I mentioned to you before the show there was a quote you have in your book, and it's under a heading, Note to Self. The past no longer exists. What has happened to me doesn't define me. Who I was yesterday is not who I am today. Can you talk about that?
What I have, Bill, that you're talking about, which are notes to self, and I have that after each and every chapter of the book. I have a meditation and I have a note to self. Really, it's the pearl. It's the essence of what I've written, so that you can take away from that chapter something that you can tell yourself. These are affirmations. These are positive things to tell yourself, and the more you do tell yourself positive things, the more you can manifest it outside of yourself. And something like that particular note to self is that you want to remind yourself that you are here in the moment and that the present moment matters more than any moment because, again, as I said, you are most alive in it. And these, again, are positive affirmations. They're reminders. We get very bogged down. We get very busy. We get very distracted. And we also can be very hard on ourselves. So these notes to self are a way to remind ourselves to stay positive.
And by the way, I have to tell you, I've messed up your book completely because I have notes to myself in there, either circling, marking them off, underlining them, highlighting them. And to me, that's the ultimate compliment because it means there's lots of good stuff in this book.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Well, no, I appreciate what you've provided us with. You asked the question, where would you rather be at this very moment? Why is that an important question? Why do you ask that?
Because as I said before, our minds wander. We most often spend time in what I call two time frames that don't exist. We are either lamenting the past and wish that it had been different, and we can't change the past. It has come and gone. Or we are anxious, anticipating the future, or worrying about the future, about what might or could happen. And again, that's what I said about worrying about something that oftentimes is out of our control, but yet we have a hard time staying in the present, the moment that we're in right now. So we need those reminders. We need the reminders to tell us when we're about to slip out of the moment. There I go. I'm worrying about, what's going to happen tomorrow, rather than staying present and saying, give yourself the positive self-talk, the support that you need to say, there are some things that are in my control and there are other things that are not in my control right now. I can't control the outcome of the future. I can only show up and do my best. And let me be in the present now and not let my worry, again, of a moment that isn't here yet take me off track or distract me or trip me up. Do you know?
No, I hear you. And
reminders.
Definitely great points, and I want to find out more of those reminders from you and from your book, Live True. At this point in the show, it's time to take a break, and I'd like our audience to know that I'm Bill Horan. Our special guest today is Ora Nadrich. We're speaking to her about her book, Live True, and you're listening to us on The Secrets of Success on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. We'll be right back after the break.
90.3 WHPC reminds you that any time is a great time to get a memory screening. Memory screenings are a quick, easy, non-invasive way to give your brain a checkup and an important part of overall health and wellness. The Alzheimer's Foundation of America's National Memory Screening Program can help you find a screening site near you. Plus, the Alzheimer's Foundation of America's toll-free helpline, staffed by licensed social workers, can provide support services for individuals living with Alzheimer's disease and their caregivers. If you or someone you know needs help caring for a loved one with Alzheimer's disease, or to find out about the memory screening program, please call 866-232-8484 or visit www.alzfdn.org. This message brought to you by the Alzheimer's Foundation of America and the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Welcome back. You're listening to The Secrets of Success on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm your host, Bill Horan, and today our guest is Ora Nadrich, author of Live True. Ora, you mention in your book that when we bypass observing and just react, we're unable to think clearly. Could you give us an example of that and how we do that perhaps in our everyday life?
Well, we're really quick to form opinions, and that's fine. We have every right to have opinions about things. But when we're not really present and we're not really mindful, we can quickly bypass a moment and become very judgmental. We can walk into a room, I talk about that in the book. We can walk into a room and be immediately judgmental of somebody, not even give them a chance. We might not like, the look of the way they wear their hair. We might not like their shoes. We might not like the sound of their voice or their cologne, or their accent. We are so quick to jump right into the end result of something and form an opinion so quickly that we really bypass being, as I said, being present. And if you find yourself, hopefully catch yourself in time when you're going to be so quick to judge somebody and so quick to criticize somebody, to catch yourself in the moment and go, wow, I'm being really critical right now. What's that about? Am I being gracious? Am I being kind? Am I being compassionate? Am I being tolerant of another human being? And this is the beauty of mindfulness. It really helps us catch ourselves when we're so quick to jump into a moment and immediately form an opinion. And oftentimes it can be a harsh judgment.
And I think you make so many great points, and your book is entitled Live True. And for our audience, if you're looking to get some changes in life, just reading this book will make you stop. And if you only do just what I've been doing since Ora taught me in the first part of the show about the breathing exercises, it will slow you down, get more out of life, and isn't that what we all want? Now, you have an expression called life gazing. What is that?
Oh, you brought up one of my favorite tips in the book, and a lot of people are really telling me that they're getting, wonderful use out of it. Life gazing is really basically appreciating life and taking the moments to look around you. I created it out of a moment when I was stopped at a red light. I'm living here in Los Angeles, California. Traffic is pretty dense, and I was stopped at a red light. And what most people do at a red light is they're in a hurry for it to turn green. Do you know they can't wait for that light to turn green? So I got very sort of, contemplative about it, and I said, here I am at a red light. Let me do some life gazing. Let me look up at the sky and see the clouds moving. Let me watch the people that are crossing the street. Oh, here's a woman strolling her baby. Oh, there's a man running across the street with his briefcase and a cup of coffee. I was able to suddenly see so much more, and that means that we take a moment, even if it means getting up from our desk and going out to look out a window and see the birds flying or hear them chirping, or just doing anything where we can take a moment where we're really appreciating life around us. We, again, waste so many moments. Life gazing is a perfect exercise to use. I said you can do it on a plane, a train, a boat, anywhere where you can do people watching. You can, again, watch nature. All it takes is just a few minutes in your day, and it'll get you out of your head and be able to be appreciative of the world around us that we take for granted.
I was going to ask you, is that the same as people watching? Because I always find that fascinating. Wherever you're sitting, if it's the airport or at a fast food restaurant, just to look around and kind of let your imagination go wild and see the different people that will pass. And if it's a fast food restaurant, what are they eating compared to what are you eating? Are they eating too much, too little, or am I eating too much? And I think it's a great way to kind of take in the world and absorb some parts of it. You have something in your book that you mention, mindfulness repair. And what is that, and when should we use it?
Mindfulness repair is something that I came up with that sometimes we're hurried. Probably not so much sometimes, but a lot of the time, I should say. And we're so hurried that, for example, you might be hurried, I say, try not to jump out of bed like a ball out of a cannon. Take a moment. Again, you could do that breathing exercise. You can just, be in gratitude that it's one more day that you're alive. These are moments that you treasure. It's a moment here, a moment there. It's a great way to start the day. But oftentimes, again, people are hurried. They got to get to work. They got to jump on the freeway. They got to go here. They got to go there. And you could be so hurried that you're rushing to get ready for work that you might not even look at your partner in the eyes when you say goodbye. You might be so hurried that you don't even say goodbye to your children. You might be so hurried that you are rude when you walk out that door. So mindfulness repair is basically catching yourself and saying, wow, I was really rushed. I didn't even, kiss my partner goodbye. I didn't look them in the eye. I didn't say I love you. I didn't give them a hug. I didn't smile at them. And hopefully we need to catch that, because if we don't, what happens is we start to be not very conscious in our waking day. We can be rude, and we can be hurried, and we can be abrupt, and we can be curt. And so the mindfulness repair is a way to repair it, basically. And let's just say, hypothetically, you were rude to your partner because you were hurried to get out of the house, and you're in your car on the freeway, and you could say, oh, that was rude. I didn't even take a moment to really look them in the eye and say, have a great day. When I have a chance, and here's where the repair comes in, I will say to them, hey, I'm sorry I was rushed this morning. I was really in a hurry to get to my appointment. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to say, good luck on your day, or I love you, or have a great day. And when you do that, you'll be amazed at how appreciative people are, because what it shows them is that you care, that you took that moment to say, I'm sorry that I wasn't as thoughtful or as mindful as I could have been.
Ora, once again at the show, we want to remind our listeners that you're listening to The Secrets of Success on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm your host, Bill Horan. The person you're listening to is Ora Nadrich. She's the author of Live True. And Ora, once again, would you tell us where we can get the book and the website we can look to?
You can get the book at Amazon. It's a quick way to get it. Barnes & Noble, or if you have a bookstore near you, ask them to order it if they don't have it. And you can check in with my website. It's chock full of a lot of things. It's oranadrich.com.
And you can see there's a lot of great ideas here. If your life is kind of spinning a little too fast, you may want to slow it down with this. If you're like me, you'll make a lot of little marks in the book and notations and underlinings, because it will change your life in a very slow and gentle way. Ora, you have a few terms that I particularly like, and I'm going to ask you to explain them and then tell us, where do most of us wind up? You call some groups future chasers, present experiencers, I think, and past dwellers. Tell us what those people are and where do most of us wind up?
Well, oftentimes, if we're honest with ourselves, we are usually falling into one of those categories, or they're interchangeable, or sometimes we spend a little bit more time being a future chaser or a past dweller, and not as much as of a present experiencer. And so, again, if you're somebody who's really lamenting the past or wishing things were different or woulda, shoulda, coulda, all that type of self-talk, then I would say it's fair to say that you're kind of living as a past dweller, and you might want to take a look at that. And if you're somebody who's always anticipating the future, and you're always thinking about what you got to do, and maybe this is going to be better, or that's going to be better, and if only this, and if only that, then you're probably a future chaser. And what we all could use more of is being a present experiencer, which means you are really experiencing the present moment, and it's enough for you, and you're really fully in it. You know those people that just really show up for life? You can feel it. It's palpable. They are really there in the moment. And then you can see people that are distracted, or you're talking to them and they're looking over your shoulder that maybe somebody else might walk into the room, or maybe somebody better, which is rude, you know, or they're the people that are constantly rehashing the past. So, you know, be honest with yourself, and that's really what I invite the reader to do, or the listener to do, is to, and this isn't judgmental, this is just helping us to be able to be more appreciative, again, of the present, and to not waste as much time in the past or in the future, is why I really created those names for that.
And I think, and I will just tell you personally, when I am around someone who is in the present, truthfully in the present, I think I'm always a little jealous, because they seem like they're enjoying that moment. Whether I'm complaining about the hot dog being too hot or too cold, they're eating it and they have a smile on their face, and they really seem to be getting the most out of life. And this is just my observation over many years. Most times they're enjoying that moment. I'm sure some things go negative for them, but they're enjoying a good joke. They're letting out a big hearty laugh. They're telling you a story, and they really seem to be maximizing their life. And if that's what your book will do for us, I think everybody should get online and get a copy.
I think it'll help everybody become more of a present experiencer, and we're going to get a lot more out of life if we do that.
Absolutely. Again, I want to mention the book is Live True. It's by our guest, Ora Nadrich, spelled Nadrich. Can you tell us once again quickly the website and where we can get the book?
The book can be gotten at Amazon. It's a fast way to get the book, Barnes & Noble, or any other book outlets near you, or bookstores. And my website is oranadrich.com.
Ora, thanks so much for being with us today, and for slowing our life down and making us appreciate it, and for teaching me how to breathe.
Thank you so much for having me.
Quite welcome. Yeah, you've been listening to The Secrets of Success on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm your host, Bill Horan, asking you to please join us again next week at the same time, when we will continue our journey to success.